Hey guys, Ash here, coming at you today, Watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video. Today we're going to rank off the top 5s in every single class for epic heroes in the game. So my top 5 healers, fighters, defenders, mages, and marksmen. Let's go ahead and jump right into it here. However, I do want to say, if you guys have a personal favorite that I have snubbed in any of these categories, I want to hear about it in the comments below. I'm really digging right now doing kind of guides on unsung heroes out there in the game, not just the popular ones. So really counting on you guys to give me some of your faves as well. Thank you in advance. All right, let's start with marksman since we're here on the screen. Let's start with marksman number 5. Yeah, I'm gonna rank them all 5 to 1. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Number 5 is gonna be Theowen. Theowen is really good. He's a little bit less damage than I was hoping for, but a lot more control than I was hoping for. I really love this dude. AoE crowd control. His ultimate has 10 seconds of slow, so we're getting a lot of slow. His awakenings are pretty solid too. Increase the slow effect of the large saber on A1 to 75%. So that's really strong, getting that 75% slow, especially for the duration that it lasts. Coming in at number 4 for marksman is gonna be oldie but a goodie. It's Brienne. Brienne is really good. Her base stats don't jump out the page at you. You know, her skills honestly don't even jump out at you like that's being super good and powerful. But this multi-shot and split shot, it does a lot of damage, especially to air units. She can basically one shot, provided they don't have like, you know, super tanky, but good at controlling large waves of air units. Really one of the best marksmen in the game for epics out there is Brienne. Still to this day, I think she still got it very strong on that split attack. Number 3 for our marksman. All right, number 3 is going to be, this is a tough one because there's 3 really good ones left, but I'm gonna go Lunaria. Lunaria is so freaking good. I waited way too long to build her because I think, like a lot of people, I just took advantage of her piercing vision 2 Lord ability, where she gives all of your, you know, your allies that 1 extra tile range. In a game that's a tower defense game, that is absolutely massive. Now, I don't have Aracha, the legendary piercer lord, on my account, so I get by a lot on Lunaria. I used her all over the place, but it wasn't until recently, as I said, that I started building her for some damage as well. With this Dark Moon arrow ability, she has some rage regen kind of built into her kit, which is really nice because her ultimate actually deals a lot of damage, right? So overall, I was definitely a big fan of Lunaria. She's got that nice boost damage and rage regen, crowd control also on the ultimate. All right, number 2 is going to be Maul. Maul's expensive, and yeah, he's really expensive. That's the bummer on Maul. The good news is everything else that he brings to the table. He's got an AoE on his basic. He's got AoEs everywhere. 750% AoE damage means he can dish out some really strong damage. He's a bit slow, right? But he's got AoE control just all over the place, right? He's got some freeze when he's awakened. He's got slow all over the place. And you can even get that cost down at A5, the cost -5, which is really helpful for obvious reasons. He also has penetration at A4 by 5%. I love when that's an A4 awakening. That leaves only 1 marksman for number 1 spot. Obviously, it's Idril. That's right, Idril, you know, the limitless shots, phenom in the game. There's still legendaries who just can't do what Idril can do, and that is do a ton of damage to anybody on the entire map. Probably already familiar with Idril, but she's just like the number 1 most wanted hero when you're starting out an account. If you get Idril, especially for DPS, for like kind of range platform units, man, you've got a hero that not only is going to help you out tremendously in the beginning, but also all the way to the end game of Watcher of Realms, which is awesome. Her awakenings are really strong. She can extend the duration of her ultimate on A5 for each kill by 3 seconds. What more can I say? Idril is just next level in terms of all of these epics. She's really one of the top in the entire game. Let's move on to our mages. So guys, for mages, top 5, I want to give a massive honorable, we'll have 2 honorable mentions here, but I want to give a massive one to Aeon. I think Aeon's great. She has that great vortex, great control, really nice debuffer overall. Good lord, right? But we're going to be replacing her at number 5 with Abaizu. Abaizu is brand new to the game, and she might might rise up the rankings on our next video, but for today, she comes in at 5. I don't own her, nor have I played her, so I'm basing this one only on YouTube videos and whatnot. But you guys let me know if you have her. She's also a Lord. She has multi-targeting attack, continuous damage. She has restore 15 rage whenever an enemy dies in range. She has this great Psyche Force, which increases attack by 3%. She has a ground effect, dealing damage for 3 seconds. She's got a lot going on. Nice damage, and the reviews so far are amazing for her out the gate. Faction Trial, EXP Raid, Gold Raid, Gear Raid 1, Gear Raid 2, Arena AoE DPS. I heard that she can dish out some absolutely insane damage. I can't wait to get my hands on her. At number 4, I think we're gonna go with Pyros. He's a really tricky mage to rank because, I mean, he's number 1 by far when it comes to guild bosses, which is one of the most important areas of the game. But his skill set, although perfect for guild boss, is really, you know, I can't say that it can't be utilized elsewhere, absolutely can, but that's where he's like SSS tier, and there's a big drop off in terms of his overall versatility. Now, that being said, I don't want to sit here and talk smack about Pyros. I still use Pyros. He's easier to get awakened as well. He's a pivotal part of, I'm sure, thousands of Infernal teams in Guild Boss, which is still the number 1 Guild Boss strategy inside the game. Basically, when his ult is off, all the damage of your allies is going to stop, and then he can hit a target for like 700,000 damage, and then boost in that big one focus fire effect on the Guild Boss. He's really amazing at A5 as well, where he recovers 200 rage when the target dies during destruction command's duration. Now, that's not applicable, obviously, to the Guild Boss, but this is definitely something that you can take advantage and give some added bonuses that does mitigate that versatility that we spoke about in other areas of the game. It's really strong that no one really talks about because it's not utilized tremendously in or at all against the Guild Boss. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Greed. I think it's going to be Greed. Greed is now a login, I think, after 30 days. He's super expensive, 25, but the two-headed giant here, or the two-headed beast, is he's worth it. He's really good. He's got nice AoE. He's got a super cheap ultimate. He's got magic resistance. He's got slow. He's got extra damage, more kills. He gets stronger. He has really solid awakenings. Look at how cheap that purgatory is. It's the auto ultimate. It's just always going, seemingly, right? And again, you get that juicy slow by 75%, so the big version. He's got a really nice mix of damage and control all in one free mage in the game. So I'm a big fan of Greed. He can really dish out some damage too. As with every, you know, hero on the list, definitely gets a lot better with awakenings as well. I have to give, I guess, before we get to the top 2, a bit of an honorable mention. Laurel, I guess, would be number 1. You know, but I'm not going to include her officially on the list just because Laurel is just the weirdest hero in the game. She doesn't even feel like she fits in the mage category. She doesn't feel like she fits in any category because we use her primarily for her talent ability, where she restores rage by 50% upon her death or removal from the battlefield. So yeah, I mean, technically Laurel is probably number 1, but I'm leaving her off the list because she doesn't even feel like a mage in the sense that everybody else on the list that we're going to talk about does. Number 2 is Mari. Mari is amazing. She's a free hero that everybody gets again. She's got that beautiful, beautiful slow. She's got the debuffs. She's got the freeze. She's got the vulnerability to, again, physical and magic. This is right on her basic as well. So we get the slow and the debuffs right on her basic. You could build her super fast and just keep those debuffs on the target. But really, that freeze is so crucial in areas like Gear Raid 1, where you have to control a large amount of enemies. It's a really, really solid ability, this Blizzard, and I find myself going to Mari again and again and again, even after playing the game for a significant amount of time now. Number 1, I'm going to give to Iona. Now, I'm sure that might be a little controversial because when we talk about the end game of Watcher of Realms, Iona is not going to be number 1, right? But I'm trying to value these heroes based on their overall utility on every account out there, and I still think that Iona is the best mage in terms of doing what mages they're born to do, right? Damage, AoE damage. And I always have thought that Iona is just the perfect example of I guess, the archetype of what a good mage should be, especially on progression on your account. Obviously, you can use her in the end game. Her base stats, being an epic, do, you know, wane a little bit when you get to the extreme end game. You're going to be replacing her with obviously more powerful mages on your account. But man, she's got really, really nice AoE damage, great ultimate that lasts for a long time, kind of like a mini comet, you know. And then she also has slow as well, right? So she has control, 50% movement speed. It's nice to get that big AoE burst damage as well as the slow on top of that. So I'm going to give it to number 1 to Iona. I still love her, but I can see how endgame players might be like, nah, you got to give it to like Pyros or somebody like that. It's fighter time. Coming in at number 5 is Estrid. Number 5 was actually really tough on this one. I invested in Estrid, and what can I say? I really like her. She is a little RNG based, right? She's known for having a very, very high attack, which is really, really nice. We always talk about their stats, epics being a little bit low, but her attack at 5162 is really, really nice. She also has the double strike. She has reduced defense. She can hit pretty hard, but on her Blade Storm, there's a little bit of RNG involved. Each basic attack has a 25% chance of triggering the double strike, but that goes away on her Blade Storm ultimate. So it actually sometimes may, with the weak hits, may not deal as much damage as you might be expecting. Overall, though, Estrid can still be, with that multi-strike, an excellent DPS, an excellent damage dealer, and like everybody else, she gets quite a bit better with Awakenings. Specifically A1, her basic attack range gets +1 tiles, so definitely notable there. You definitely want to try to get her on A1 if you can, if you want to invest in her. That might push you over the edge to do so. Quick shout out, Dalian. I've made a whole video on Dalian. She was my first cost regen, and I love her for that. It's really nice if you're not used to playing cost regen heroes in this game. Give her a try. You don't even have to really, you know, build her with gear on. It's a nice feeling to be couping that cost throughout the duration of the entire battle. I really like her. All right, but number 4 on the list, guys, is going to be Atrox. I really like this guy, a mini Cerberus in some ways. He cannot be healed, but he has this really, really fast redeploy time as well, and you can basically cycle him to do AoE damage when he dies. This dude, well, he's chaotic. He's all about killing himself and doing damage with his AoE after he's dead. That has applications in several different areas of the game. I really like me some Atrox, especially in the arena. He's really, really fun. Coming in at number 3 out of our fighters is going to be, drum roll please, Vladov, the Chaotic Lord. Chaotic Lords are very hard to get in this game. You're not going to probably have Gon, you know, especially the legendaries. They're very, very difficult. So Vladov might be the best that you can get. He is a great source of AoE bleed, right? AoE bleed, very, very hard to find in this game. Vladov has it. The damage beyond that AoE bleed, it's okay. It's not as high, frankly, as I was hoping for. I was a little underwhelmed, but he has multi-strike. He's solid in the arena, especially if you don't have a Deimos or you know, another better legendary option. So as a Lord, great. As a bleeder, fantastic. Beyond that, pretty good in terms of damage. Coming in at number 2 on the list, this is kind of tough. I didn't know who I wanted to give it to, but I ended up going with Deimos. You could argue he might be number 1. Deimos is a beast. He has double hits. He has stacking damage. He's single target, like one of the best, if not the best, ground units that you can find inside the entire game. When he's awakened, he can lifesteal, he can ignore a little bit of damage as well, penetration on A4. At A5, when tearing reaches full stacks, he ignores 15% of the target's defense, so the A4 plus the A5 can really scale up his damage, if you're lucky enough to actually get that many copies, and maybe that's why I put Wrath as number 1. Wrath, of course, like Deimos, does need awakenings to reach his full potential, which is amazing. He's a little mini lifesteal built into Wrath as well. When you get him all the way to A5, it restores heroes' HP equal to 30% of the total damage dealt. Now, we all get Wrath for free in this game, so, I mean, what better? What game gives you the best epic fighter, or the best epic, one of the best epics, for free starting this game? Do not discount this dude just because he's free. He's great damage. He's Nightmare. He's a Nightmare Lord, which you're going to get tons of utility on. There's a lot of really great Nightmares, especially heroes, especially when you're starting out this game. He's got great Well, it says it right there. Continuous damage that he can bring to your team. He's going to be able to service you and your account for a long time. I give Wrath the #1 spot. All right, let's move over to defenders. Coming in at number 5 on the defenders is Isabel. I really like her. She's got, well, a high block because you can bump her block up. And when her shield wall is activated, she has block increase +1, which we just said. We have the physical damage reduction and the magical damage reduction to all allies in the skill range. That's a great group kind of buff component that she brings to the table. Really solid. She has more defense scaling based on her blocks as well, and she has shields on her A1 ability. Trigger slash for every 7 attacks, dealing AoE damage to all block. Gain 6% defense for each enemy block, stacking up to 5 times, and she grants that shield, like I just mentioned, 30% of her HP to herself and her adjacent allies in a horizontal line. Shield strength increases by 10% each time her block is increased, and this shield lasts for 10 seconds. Survivability, buffs for everybody else. When the going gets tough, she has the, the bumped increased defense and everything else corresponding to her blocks, and she is a lord. Add that all together, we're looking at our defender number 5. Number 4 on the list is Jorge. Oh man, I really like this guy. He's super cheap. He has the plague. The plague is AoE damage that, just like you would think from a plague, it spreads. This is the best epic defender damage dealer, one of the best defender damage dealers in the game. And it's really nice because not only does he have that great AoE damage at that low cost, but he actually is pretty tanky too. He has when triggered increased defense by 40%, inflicts plague on all targets, and that extra defensive boost. He's not going to be main tanking AMR in the late stages, likely not. I mean, maybe he's capable with the right gear like a lot of heroes in this game, but definitely can be a serviceable tank for your account and a great source of AoE damage. So if you want some AoE damage from a defender, look no further than Jorge. I actually spotlit him on one of my previous videos, so we have a full guide on him on the channel as well. You can check that out. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Baron. Baron is a beast. I love Baron. Personally, he's my favorite epic defender. I don't think he's the best because I have him at number 2, but he's got the shield and the unkillable. It's right there, right? What more do you want than unkillable and a big beefy shield? Now, when awakened, he can heal himself to full after the shield goes away as well. You can extend the duration, or 50% HP, excuse me, recovery at A5. So he just gets better and better and tankier, and the shield gets better and better. And that leaves only one guy for the number 1 spot. I think it's still Olog, even though I love Baron and all the other defenders that we mentioned. But Olog is still, he's still a monster, man. He's got that just amazing girthy shield. Heck, half the time this dude doesn't even need to be healed because, well, that shield is insane. Every 12 seconds grants a shield that can absorb damage equal to 50% of max HP. Just build him with a ton of HP and you're gonna be A-okay as long as you get him onto the battlefield, with a little bit of time for that shield to kick in, right? Just one of the best defenders because he's got one of the best shields inside the entire game. A lot of end game accounts still use Olog in multiple different areas, right? With Brokir, he's really one of the strongest kind of damage absorbers in the game. And what else do you want from a tank, right? Let's talk about healers before we end this video, guys. Coming in at number 5 on the healer category is going to be Nisandi. Nesandai, however you want to say her name. She's an attack-based healer. She's got a bounce heal. Why is bounce heal good? It's good because it can go outside of her range, right? Those bounces can extend beyond the healer's range, which allows her to cover more of the battlefield than you might initially expect after, initially observing her range, right? She also has an attack speed increase on all heroes within the attack range every 40 seconds. That's a +50 attack speed, which is really nice as well. I love the bounce and I love the attack speed, all at a pretty affordable cost of 15. At number 4 for healers in the game is going to be none other than Maiden. Maiden is one of the first healers you get your hands on, but she's so versatile. She's very good. She has HP based healing to 3 allies in range. She can split those targets. She has a cleanse on her ultimate, which is very useful in multiple areas of the game. She has great overall utility with defense increase as well. Just a great buffer, a support. Her heals are not going to out heal the best healers in the game, certainly not, but they're enough with everything else that she's bringing to carry you through the early and the mid game super easy. crazy. So really, really solid on Maiden. On number 3 is going to be Vortex. It feels criminal putting Vortex at number 3 because of how good he is. Insane, well, very good healing. Insane range, super wide. This is deceptive right here, right? And great shields. What more do you want from a support? He's one of the best raw, keep your allies alive heroes inside the entire game. The only reason he's not higher is because he's in the same category as Hollow, who is absolutely absurd. The best rage regenerator in the game, certainly up there with the likes of an Eloin, you know, the best legendary healers in the game. Some people still prefer Hollow. When Light of Bliss is activated, restores 0.6 rage for all allies in the range every 1 second. You can obviously get that up as well significantly. She's just so freaking good. I use Hollow probably more than any epic, except for the one that we're going to talk about right now. She also has decent healing as well and more efficiency on A5 on that Light of Bliss. So Hollow is absolutely, if you have her, you're definitely using her, right? I slept on her for a long time, but number 1 is gonna be Dolores, of course. Dolores is so good, and she's still the best epic in the entire game. Of course, it does depend on what you're looking for, but it's really just inspiration. Just inspiration. You build her with as high as possible attack as you can muster, and you're gonna give that attack to everybody else to boost up the damage of everybody in her range. She's amazing. She's not a great healer. She has that AoE radius. She's gonna empower all of your damage dealers with the best inspiration in the game. Dolores is still the most wanted epic and the most game-changing epic that you can get on your account because of all the damage that you can get out of everybody else when you properly utilize a Dolores, which isn't that hard. Build a lot of attack on her, right? So there it is, guys. That's top 5 in every class and every category. Let me know who I snubbed, let me know who I got right, and let me know if you want to see a legendary follow-up to today's video. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.